Joining us now to explain what all the ink means is body language expert Judi James. Judi, you study body language.
Yes.
So how do tattoos work in that?
It's like the ultimate body language, really. I mean, most body language is subliminal, but when you have a tattoo, you decide. It's a bit like the text that goes on giving, because it will give out a message to the rest of the world for the rest of your life, probably.
Okay.
So it really defines the way that you want to be seen by the people, which is very telling.
So it's a statement for everyone to see?
For everyone to... Well, not all of these parts of the anatomy, but quite a bit of it.
OK, let's start with Connor, then, and his.
Connor's is fascinating, because he's got this huge arm tattoo that actually looks very warrior-like.
Yeah.
So it would be, in animal terms, a state of aggressive arousal. It's done to intimidate people. But if you look at the actual design itself, it's a kind of Celtic design which should imply somebody a bit more of a dreamer, perhaps, maybe even a bit lazy.
It's not an aggressive design, is it?
It's
inside.
not. I mean, actually, he should be House Alpha. He's a big guy. He's showed his strengths, but I think he's probably a little bit too lazy to take control away from pretendy Alpha Luke.
Pretendy Alpha Luke. I like that. OK, let's move on to Ashley.
Ashling's like a walking post-it note. I mean, she's got little messages all over her body, and I think, you know, if guys get bored, they can read them, so it makes her just a bit more interesting. I mean, she's got love here, but hers are interesting because when you see a woman with messages, it's usually to be read by herself, a little reminder of how I want to be. But hers only work externally. She's got some she probably has never even seen. And so she can only see them when she's having a fag, and then she projects to the rest of the world, so we see love then, or when she's flicking her hair around. So attention-seeking, but I don't think she really understands what she's saying. OK. Luke A. Luke's are lovely. They're probably the most tasteful ones. They're nicely done, a bit of a perfectionist, I think. Some of them are quite feminine. He's got some quite nice small designs, but this one is on his bicep. No, this one's on his bicep, and this one actually would accentuate the masculinity, the strength of the whole thing. His are probably the most grounded. A lot of these are just random ramblings, but his would imply...
this was more thought about?
More thought, and it implies perhaps more comfortable within that long-term relationship that he's got, so less need to advertise. OK,
Siobhan.
Siobhan's is the most sexual. It's on the part of her anatomy that leads down to the buttocks and the washing label here on the knickers. But, so you've got lots of signalling going on there. But that's attracting the eye to the most sexual part of the female body. However, I mean, it's quite mystical, it's quite complex, so I think she's showing that she doesn't want to sort of do spontaneous, superficial relationships, as though you've got to really understand because I'm quite deep.
And she's taken that mother role, kind of, in the house.
Yeah, yes, sort of quite angry mother at times, but yes, it's she would definitely see herself as a thinker, maybe even an intellectual.
What about her conflict with Adam? Does that tell us anything? Yeah,
because, I mean, this is no sense of humour when it comes to sex, whereas Adam, I think, looking at his in a minute, I think he would probably laugh a woman into bed, or expect her to laugh.
Oh, there's me laughing.
Going on there.
OK. Next is Luke S.
This is, I mean, this is
Does that say sense of humour?
No, it's not ironic. I think women are supposed to sort of worship at the temple of his vanity with this. Like, we'd actually want to kiss his guns. And no woman... I mean, that would be a deal-breaker, wouldn't it, once the minute you saw that?
Yeah, I mean, if I kind of saw that, I would go, oh, that's a joke, right? Oh, no, it's not. Right, bye.
No, and I mean, it's actually more of an advert to the guys as well, you know, look, women love me. And for me, if you've got to advertise it, you're probably not doing it in real life. So that goes...
OK, let's move on to Adam, who is, I'm surprised, not the alpha male of the house.
No, and again, he should be. You know, he's got a background. I mean, he should be definitely taking the alpha role, and I think this explains why, really. You know, he's got this sock tattooed, which is hopefully...
It's just brilliant, Judi, isn't it?
Hopefully it's a hoot and he gets it. What he might not understand about the UK psyche is that for women it's the socks coming off last in bed that are a complete turn-off, and with his you'd have to prise them off. He's got two big tattoos on his arms at the back. Now, they would be more a sign of perhaps being in an aggressive environment. It kind of saves you, it protects your back. But then these would perhaps draw an attack in LA, wouldn't they, I would imagine, on the street?
Maybe this is his fun side, though, maybe.
Well, and that's it. I think he could be an alpha, but I think he's learnt how to chill. I think he's got this sense of humour. Step back, definitely. And that's really why these two don't get one another. I mean, he really has got that sense of humour.
OK, now we have a surprise one. You ready for this one? What can you tell us about this?
Well, this is a really... disturbing, I think, is the word that comes to mind here.
Yeah, tell us about it, and then we'll reveal whose it is.
This is sort of like half the arm. Now, this is obviously somebody that considers themselves a bit of a rebel, a bit of a rock god, but not as hard as they'd like to think, I don't think. Clearly, this was quite painful to have done, so they're proving something to the boys. And they only have one arm, by the way, I think.
Yeah,
it's
and
quite
half
telling.
an arm at that.
Half an arm.
Yeah.
But it's so precise and neat. It actually looks like a little girl's bolero. So not quite as hard as he likes to make out. I think we've got a bit of a softie here. This is somebody that would look after your kitten on holiday, I think.
OK. Do we have a picture on here of who it is? No. Well, there's no picture, but we can reveal that is Mr. Jamie East's tattoo.